Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Welcome again. In the first part of this series or this session on academic integrity, we all have seen what is the meaning of the academic integrity, how do we define integrity, what are the areas under which we are going to discuss this academic integrity. So, in the second part, let us just start with you, we, and what can go wrong in the academic integrity part 2. So, in the module 2, we all are going to see some of the very critical areas. Usually, we understand that integrity is not usually maintained or it is a questionable. So, what are the roles and responsibilities in assuring your academic integrity? Uh, there are certain educational roles, institutional roles, community roles, teacher roles, student roles, right? And when we talk about the integrity, we are basically talking about all these roles put together. So specify the roles and responsibilities of the institution. That is a very, very important requirement. Its staff, that means academic and non-academic professionals, students at all the levels in promoting academic integrity, preventing and managing academic integrity breaches. So there has to be a complete statement of academic integrity in any institutions, and it is a must for it should be considered as your vision and mission statement. We all know that in every institution, every college, we all have now made it very much important and almost compulsory to have your vision statement, your mission statement. I would strongly recommend that we also should have our own academic integrity statement at the institutional level, because what we give, we get it back from our students. As I have always maintained, that we are dealing with the future generation. That means this is a complete, our role here where the students are going to get what we give them. So, as an educator, you'll often be caught in a situation that challenges your patience, your goodwill, your belief in what you are doing as a teacher. We all have experienced in our regular day-to-day academic life that there are certain areas where we feel frustrated because of many reasons. That reason can be policy reason, that reason could be the institutional reason, but somehow we find it very challenging to keep our integrity upright in those situations. We all want to do the right thing. Basically, human being is not born corrupt, is not born cheat. We all want to do the right thing. But sadly, unfortunately, many teachers fall victim to a power complex with the lure of climbing the leadership ladder on the horizon. In any organization, what we call organization politics or organization gossip, this actually is all the negativity, all the negative vibes which come together because of the multiple practices of the disintegrity or dishonesty in the academics. So, very first thing, which is the onus is on you, do the right thing. And how to do it? Prevent yourself by getting caught up with the power and political issues within your institution, and check that you are doing the right thing at all the times. Uh, this is a little difficult thing to do, we all understand, because there are many factors which play a role into our job, our continuous service, or maybe our any other rules and regulations. So, for example, in Indian institutional framework, nowadays to get into the college or the university department is a um, very cutthroat race and competition. There are so many factors which are actually um, implied on your taking up that job, or maybe you're offered the job. Before that and after that, there are so many factors which apply on that: your position, your category, your pay scale, the nature of your institution, the nature of your post, the nature of your job, the nature of your maybe other institutional affiliations. That means we all know our problem areas, our challenges, that It is not always about the institutional status. We all are facing a lot of, you know, a lot of unfairness, lot of unjust practices, lot of discrimination when our institution is not supported and aided by the government. And in those scenarios, it is a very, very difficult task for any teacher to keep up the upright integrity. But in that case also, the final choice is always with you. Critically explore the new strategies and fads that come around, remembering the impact this could have on your students. I give you a very, very small example, but it's a very, very good example here. We have heard, and there are rumors that the bribing system is so very strong, unfortunately, that there are some openings, some postings which are done only on the basis of the bribes. Now just imagine a teacher or an instructor who has taken up the job after giving a hefty bribe in the system. What kind of ethical values and moral values he has or he will be left with to give it to his students? That means please understand that your students are your results. Your morality will be shown on your students. Remove yourself from situations where colleagues are a part of any malpractice and do the right thing for them rather than being sucked into the lies, deceptions, and misinterpretations. I know it's a very challenging task. We all face the dilemma every day to do or not to do. Just like our Shakespeare's Hamlet, we all face that question, what is right, what is wrong? Even after knowing what is right, we are not at times able to do it because the plurality, the crowd, the multiple people, or maybe everybody is doing something which is not right. And that time we have to just blind ourselves and then follow the herd. Please don't do that. Remove yourself as far as possible from the situations because first rule of the integrity is do the right thing. Rule number 2, believe in all your students. This is a very important part as a teacher when you are dealing with your very impressionable minds. Each student is unique, gifted, and despite what they are displaying, they all want to succeed. Now, just imagine we are having our own batch of students. On an average, we deal with 100 students every day in different classes, different programs and courses. But trust me on this, each and every child who is sitting in front of you in a classroom is a unique individual, gifted in some or the other ways, not your traditional conventional ways, but each child is a gifted one. And each child wants to succeed. That means first thing of integrity is always believe in your students. They all have their own little quirks and characteristics. So look for the good nature in each and each one of them. By being genuine and enthusiastic about your subject and being genuine to them will gain the respect and along with engaging in your teaching as you guide them to achieve their potential. Very important part here is first you believe in yourself, that means self conviction. You believe in your students, that means the conviction in your learners. If you can match these two convictions levels, trust me on this is going to be a very strong bond which will not be lasting only through the lecture, but it will be a very strong bond for the lifelong practice. The students will always remember you as a good ethical teacher. Here it has nothing to do with your subject knowledge. It has to do everything with you being a teacher, the way you come across to your students in the class. Number 3, take responsibility. Now here we have some very funny examples and we all believe and we all think that okay, this is not for me, this is not my job. I mean, quote unquote. We all have just shrugged that responsibility so many times. This is not my job. What is my job? Go to the college, go to the classes, take my lecture, pass my students, and I'm done. Is this actually true? No. Take responsibility. But for what? Take responsibility for what and for whom? Being trustworthy, being honest, and being authentic are key traits of your true professional integrity. That means it has nothing to do with you being a teacher, you being a lawyer, you being a businessman, you being a doctor. But these three are inherent human values. But in the field of teaching learning, it becomes much more sharper, it becomes much more needed. Being trustworthy, being honest, and being authentic. So these three qualities, and we have to every day sharpen these qualities, because the system out there, the world out there is not helping us in keeping our integrity tight. Accepting your own mistakes without passing the blame to others take courage within itself. We have seen many students, many teachers in and around us. One mistake is done and then they are always ready to pass the buck. It is because of the internet, it is because of this problem, that problem, I am not then, and I got that kind of document. But it stops here, right there, at you, on you. So accepting your own mistakes, even though it is carried forward by the one earlier, but now it is in front of you. It is not easy always to correct somebody else's mistake and do it as your own. I know. But please don't let it pass. That means the moment you know that this is wrong, don't let it pass. Try and correct it at your level. That means first accepting the mistake of either you or somebody else, and to correct it takes a little courage, right? It's not always easy to take responsibility for things that happen, but it is the right thing to do. As I told you in the very first slide, that integrity is knowing what is right and not ignoring it. That is what is integrity. That means people with strong professional integrity choose to do the right thing even when it is hard. And we all have experienced it. Time and again, consistency, conviction, and perseverance in doing right has paid everyone well. So how to create that entire structure, maybe entire ecosystem of culture of integrity in the classroom. Students develop academic honesty when you build their moral vocabulary, you respond appropriately to the cheating, you use meaningful quotes, and you inspire them to believe in themselves. That means, of course, we know that students are smarter than me nowadays. They have internet and they have this support. But trust me on this, teachers are still not replaced and teachers in the class are still not substituted. Today also, students are happily coming to the campuses and reaching out to the classrooms where a physical delivery of the lecture is happening. We all are dealing with a very, very unprecedented time right now, and then we all are using this online model. And many of us are actually fearing that is it that the online modes will be replacing my physical lecture? Is it that the teachers will be now substituted and then only this online screen will be teaching the students? No, it is not going to happen, because right from the Gurukul ages, a teacher is not only for the dissemination of the knowledge or the subject or the information. A teacher is much more than this. We all remember at least one teacher in our life who has made some difference to all of us, right? And it cannot be replaced by any online learning or online classes or correspondence classes. That means you cannot just get rid of your responsibility by saying that, okay, my students don't come to me for anything. They come to you every time. When you fail them consistently, then they stop coming to you. So how do we fail them? By not doing all these things. That means students develop academic honesty, which will continue and which will percolate in their livelihood honesty. When you build their moral vocabulary in the class, you respond very appropriately to that cheating or maybe some malpractices here and there. When you use meaningful quotes in the class, that means your positivity will invariably transmit to your students. And here comes a very nice, sort of a graphic here, which says that who's a great teacher. And we all know that great teachers have many kind of characteristics. But if you read it carefully, it will all talk about you being a complete, full of integrity, and teacher full of integrity will always be a great teacher. Help students reach goals, inspire and model kindness. They are caring, humorous, empathetic. They are lifelong learners. They are reliable. They are honest and dedicated. They encourage and support learning. They provide opportunities for services to others. They are collaborative and they put faith and trust in students. They are passionate about kids, their learning, their personal success. They are champions and an advocate for their students. Great teachers are consistent and also flexible. That means the most adaptive in nature today, if you find, they are the teachers like you and me. They are trustworthy. They value students and build their confidence. Great teachers leave life changing positive impacts. Great teachers build relationships. Great teachers are dependable. And finally, great teachers make memories. Just by being a complete integrated in your honesty, you can be a great teacher. And finally, what you are going to leave behind? Great teachers make memories. I would like to discuss a very innovative model here, which is called the compass advantage model. Compass advantage model, it is created and used for the students in the higher secondary and maybe the junior college, what we call in Mumbai. It is actually giving you a full compass about how to make your students a complete whole, complete holistic positivity model. This is called a complete holistic positivity model. And if you can see it here, it's a model which is dealing with the ideas of resourcefulness, creativity, empathy, curiosity, sociability, resilience, self-awareness, and finally integrity. This is a model, this is a framework which is designed to foster a complete 360 degrees holistic development of the mind, body, heart, and soul. It is created by Marilyn Price Michel, a psychologist, and it is a model which is also engaging not only the student but teachers, management, communities in the complete structure of the positive well-being. So integrity in this entire compass advantage model is the basis of social harmony and action. That means I again go back to Warren Buffett's statement that a person having the highest level of intellect, highest level of creativity, highest level of maturity, but if that person is lacking in the integrity, that person will not help in creating a social harmony and action. Despite societal forces that test integrity, children deserve a world that values truth, honesty, and justice. This is a very important statement here, and this is, I think, the crux of the entire session today. Because we say that, okay, the world is not good, the world out is there corrupt, completely corrupt. We have not left a world worthy of living. It is not true. Because the one who is sitting in front of you in the class is still very, very open. It's like a sponge, and what you give, they are going to carry it forward. And just by being the just by forcing or just by stressing on the integrity, you are going to give them values of truth, honesty, and justice, which is linked by research to self-awareness, sociability, and the five other abilities as I've showed you in my compass model. Integrity is one of the most important pathway to success. So now let us just come to how. That means the practical aspect. How to improve individual integrity. There are many ways to do it, but let us just start with step by step. Very first, infuse integrity into the classroom culture. That means whenever we go in the class, students should feel, students should think, and students should believe that there won't be any nonsense that will happen in the class. We have seen many teachers, unfortunately, not putting any value addition in their teaching, and sorry to say, but then they cut a very sorry figure by just going in the class and maybe reading out something from the ready-made notes and then trying to just, sorry to use this word, fool around. We have seen some instructors like, but to teachers and students are smart enough. As I've told you, they are smart bunch who are sitting in front of you. They will immediately come to know your intention and your integrity. That means the way you handle your class. You come every time on time as per your lecture timing. The way you don't waste any time in your classrooms. The way you don't create any nonsense in the class by telling stories and maybe unnecessary discussions. or maybe just lingering on some processes like attendance and all. Because students are smart. They understand today the teacher is ready or not ready. And every time, if you are going to your class completely ready to deliver your lecture, trust me, you are very gradually making a very strong base for your integrity, and not only yours. Students sitting in your class also will understand that in this teacher's class there won't be any nonsense tolerated, and that is up to you to create that kind of a culture in the classroom. That means teachers make integrity the norm in their classrooms in several important ways. They clearly articulate expectations about academic integrity and consequences of cheating, but they go beyond the issue of cheating to create a culture that rewards success beyond grades. Unfortunately, we all follow the system where the grades are the highest achievement benchmarking for your success. As a teacher, being a teacher, we have to somewhere draw a line which is not connecting success and the grades together. If students have only grades to measure themselves, then cheating is often a justifiable strategy to beat the system. We come across, unfortunately, many of the copy cases during exams, and many of the times students say, but sir, I was not prepared, but ma'am, I was not prepared, and I wanted to pass, and I had to pass. That means, just imagine the system is so very weak that we are encouraging our students to go for the dishonest ways to pass the system, because that will be the final achievement benchmark. If students are also rewarded for their courage, hard work, determination, and respect for classmates, they see and understand that the process of learning comes first. Unfortunately, in the higher education classes, by the time we get our students from the school, most of their mindset is completely framed, and they are already a part of that rat race, which is putting them into a complete, blind race where they don't value these words like courage, hard work, determination, respect for teachers and students. But this is the challenge of today's higher education scenario, not only in India but everywhere. That means how to foster the culture of integrity. Number two, very important, develop a moral vocabulary. According to the International Center for Academic Integrity, five fundamental values of academic integrity are responsibility, respect, fairness, trustworthiness, and honesty. That means if you are a teacher showing, percolating, inculcating all these five values, the student will have a different respect for you. Because while dishonesty and disrespect flourish in civil society, ask students to find examples of how individuals stood up for their beliefs and values in ways that made a difference for themselves or for the world. Small, small things make a big, big, contribution sometimes. Of course, we are not dealing with small children, but respecting them for the differences, not bullying them, not shouting at them. Be fair in dealing with students, not going for and only a handful of students, not being biased to some certain students in the class. uh, what you say you do, and what you do you say. That means it's students should know that this teacher has said this thing, that means this is the complete truth. These are some of the ways to build that structure of responsibility, respect, fairness, trustworthiness, and honesty. Number three, respond appropriately when cheating occurs. It's a very delicate matter. Every day we come across students, small lies or maybe small cheating. We don't call it cheating, but it's a deception. Why didn't you come for the class today? Sir, I had gone for my doctor's appointment. Then more than once, when we know that the child is not telling the truth, instead of bullying, instead of directly going for the punitive actions, try and talk to them. Because instead of going for the punishment for the lie, if you find the reason for the lie next time, and if you remove that reason, next time you're going to see the positive results. While teachers cannot control students' behavior, they can respond with consistency when enforcing school and classroom policies. In our case, uh, our own college policies. In a classroom culture that places learning first, dishonest behavior is a teachable moment. To help internalize learning, ensure that students reflect on and glean meaning from their behavior. It is not to go for the shaming, not to go for ridicule, not to target them, not to isolate them. There are many positive ways to make a child realize that you have committed a mistake today. Listen and show respect for their thinking, and then restate your expectation that dishonesty is never acceptable in your classroom. Very simple example, we all give some projects and some assignments to our class, and many a times we know that this is the complete copy paste done from Wikipedia or complete copy paste done from some other student. So instead of throwing that project on the face of the student, we can actually call the student, that child next to us, and show both these copies by putting them together side by side, and then say, or maybe ask, yes, child, if you would have been at my place, even after teaching you so many things, if you give me this thing, what will you do to me? Would you like it? The moment you turn this table, the child will understand. As I have told you, a human being is inherently a good creature, right? So, what are the pillars of academic integrity? As I have told you, five pillars: honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. But if you're not able to put everything together, at least try and find out the opposites of that. So academic misconduct, we are sure to find everywhere: academics, assessment, evaluations, admissions, maybe curriculum design, research is a big area. So this misconduct, if we can try and find out, or maybe we can just try and isolate. They are something like this we can put together: cheating, fabrication, falsification, improper collaboration, multiple submissions, plagiarism, helping another person to obtain an unfair academic advantage. So these are very recurrent dishonesties and misconducts which are happening very regularly in our college campuses and university campuses. But as I told you, we have our reasons to be good. We have our own reasons to be academically upright. Reason number one: be integrity wise because others can trust you. When people know that you believe in doing the right thing and that your behavior is consistent with that belief, they trust you. People, that means not only your class, your colleagues, your management, your authorities, and your community, of course, your family, society, everyone. Trust is one of the key characteristics of a successful leader. These individuals develop good reputation by being honest, fair, and trustworthy. We all have our experiences, our own opinions, our own belief in some of the leaders, maybe a political leader, maybe a celebrity, maybe any other kind of a leader, maybe a business leader. But ask yourself that why do you trust them? Because they have shown a very consistent honesty, fairness, and trust. Our world is based on our ability to trust each other. Having academic integrity is important because it provides value to your degree. Employers prefer to hire graduates whom they believe to have high personal integrity. That means here the name of your institution or maybe the reputation of your institution comes into picture. We all know that some placements or some companies or some organizations, they prefer to hire students from XYZ institution. Why? It is not that the institutions are rich or maybe any other connected, because they know the academic culture, they know the academic integrity in that particular campus or particular institution, and they have their own conviction about the students, that XYZ college or XYZ university, when a student is passing out of that, he will have the imbibed values for which the university is known. That means just by being academically upright on ourselves, we are also making our own students a complete brand ambassador for our own institution. They would rather invest in developing the human capital of someone who will be a positive influence. Most of the foreign universities consider their own students their own brand ambassador. That means even one child of one university, when he is passing out of that, will always be lifelong, not only alumni, but a brand ambassador. So having academic integrity is important because it can offer you peace of mind. We all have experienced that, knowing that you believe in doing the right thing and always try to act consistently. It is always said that when you lie, you have to remember a lot. But when you say a truth, you don't have to remember because truth always remains the same. Acting with integrity can reduce a lot of unnecessary stress in your life, making you happier, healthier, and more productive. And I'm sure we all have experienced it. So, this is your end of the second part of the session. That means how to go ahead with the creation of personal integrity. Now let us shift from personal academic integrity to the professional academic integrity. And it is going to be a very interesting session. But before that, let's just have some questions, assignments, and wait for the next session, next video. Thank you for being with me. This is Dr. Preeti Oza, and see you in the other side of the video. Thank you.